Hey everyone, so today we're going to be talking about how to catch a falling katana. Now I say a falling katana because if you have a Western sword or even my Korean sword, then they hang with the blade down, so it's very unlikely for them to fall out. However, the katana with its blade up can actually fall out, often as you bend down to get something. So today I'm going to talk about how we can prevent injuries from a falling blade, as well as one technique to catch the falling katana. But it's quite a high level technique, and I recommend that the prevention aspects be done and learned first. So let's start with the story. So you've done some tameshigiri, and now you've got all your pieces of pool noodles, tammy mat, bottle, whatever it is on the floor. So you bend down, and as you bend down, your sword starts to come out. So you do what you've done 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times before, and you go to grab the handle, as you always do. But this time, then you miss the handle, you miss the guard, and you grab onto the blade. And you cut all 4 fingers on your dominant hand, and you end up with hand surgery, 6 weeks recovery time, maybe 12 weeks including physio, and your hand is never quite the same ever again. So that's a pretty extreme case, but it is something that can happen, because swords are sharp objects, they are dangerous, and even though we like to get comfortable around them, they can cause severe injury. So what could we have done to change that story so that it has a nicer ending? Well, first we can start by prevention. So your koiguchi and your habaki should have a tight fit to each other. So as you can see with mine, if I lean it down, even if I shake it, then it's still not going to come out. And how you can do that if it's gotten loose is you can shim it with a piece of wood or even just some tape so that the fit fits nicer. Now let's say that you don't want to fix up your koiguchi because you don't have the time, effort, skills, whatever, then you can just make a habit of putting your thumb on the suba over here. And this way when you go to bend down, then it will stop it from falling. And that's a nice, quick, easy habit that you can make. Now let's say that all of the prevention aspects have failed. So you forgot to hold on to the suba one time, or it's just gotten loose on this training session and it starts to fall out. So what can you do? Well, in the culinary world, then there's a saying amongst chefs that a falling blade has no handle. And what it means is that it's more dangerous to try and catch the falling blade, as we saw by that story. So instead, then you should put your hands up to alert other people of the danger and also prevent yourself from trying to grab the blade and step away from the falling blade and just let it fall to the floor. Now, some people say, well, you might damage the sword then, you might damage the floor, or it might be disrespectful to the training space. Honestly, I don't care. Your safety is far more important than any of those things. And if you've got a sensei who tells you that you should try and catch it because it's disrespectful to the training space, they probably shouldn't be a teacher, because your safety and the student's safety should be far more important than anything else, especially in this modern day and age. Now, there is one caveat to that. So there's one time when I would recommend catching the blade, and I'll teach you a technique of how to do that. And that situation is where there are other people in close proximity. So they're not expecting the falling blade like you are. They don't know it's coming. And so if you try and get them to move, they may not move in time or in the right direction, and they might end up hurting themselves instead. So in this case, then catching the blade creates a more safe environment for everyone else, including yourself. So this is the only time when you should actually try and catch the falling blade. So as it starts to fall, then take your open hand and make a scooping motion, palm side up, and don't try and grip. Keep the palm open. So as it falls, then you can catch it like this at the guard, and then it's a safe catch. But let's say that you miss the guard, so as it falls, and you can catch it on the blade, and because you're not trying to close your hand, then you don't have any risk of hurting yourself on the sharp edge, because your hand is on the blunt spine, so you can't get cut. And just the friction of your hand and lifting it up will prevent it from falling further. And then you can just slide your sword back in. So to recap, open hand, as you see it falling, come up and catch. That's it. Now this is really important to do rather than trying to catch like this, because like I said, this is not a good ending. So I hope that was interesting. And swords are a wonderful tool that we have to train with, but they are dangerous, they can cause harm, and they are a weapon. So treat them with respect and always keep safety in mind. And so to recap, try and avoid, put your hands up, don't try and catch it, unless there are other people around, and then open hand, scoop and catch, and don't close the fingers. Never try and grab the handle, because even though we practice that for all of our other techniques, this is the time when that is more dangerous to you. So I hope you learned something, and with that, I'll see you next time.